Have you ever mastered seduction techniques that promised miracles but never truly worked? Get ready, because what I'm about to reveal about the female mind will completely change the way you relate to women. If you watch until the end of this video, I guarantee you'll have in your hands the master key that very few men know. Like this video now, comment where you're watching from, and share it with that friend who urgently needs to hear this. The truth is, you're just minutes away from discovering why your previous attempts failed and how to reverse it immediately. Look, I'm going to be direct with you. Most men spend their entire lives trying to impress women with superficial things: cars, muscles, money, status. Sure, these things can help, but let me tell you a secret that will blow your mind. The most incredible women, the ones truly worth it, are looking for something much deeper. And the worst part is, you probably already have it within you, but you don't know how to access or demonstrate it. It's like having a treasure buried in your backyard and starving because you don't know where to dig. First, let's talk about invisible emotional resonance. You know that guy who isn't the best looking, isn't the richest, but is always surrounded by interesting women. He masters something that 99% of men completely ignore. Deep, lasting attraction isn't born from what you say, but from what you make a woman feel. Think about that for a second. How many times have you memorized pickup lines, elaborate scripts, seduction routines, only to see her interest evaporate in minutes? This happens because you were focused on the surface when you should have been diving into the depths. Emotional resonance is your ability to tune into her inner universe. It's not telepathy, it's not magic, it's genuine presence. When you're talking to a woman and your mind is somewhere else thinking about what you'll say next or worried about impressing her, you break the connection before it even starts. She feels that. Women have an extremely sharp emotional radar. They perceive when you're being authentic and when you're just playing a role. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you're in a busy coffee shop. Instead of approaching that interesting woman with a rehearsed pickup line, you simply observe. Not in a creepy way, but with genuine curiosity. You notice how she holds her cup, how her eyes light up when she laughs, how her body relaxes when she's comfortable. These micro-expressions tell a story, and when you finally approach, you're no longer trying to win her over, you're trying to get to know her. This subtle shift in energy is perceived instantly. The problem is, we've been conditioned to believe that vulnerability is weakness, that showing genuine interest is demeaning yourself, that admitting nervousness is losing the game. A lie. The biggest lie you've ever been told. Controlled vulnerability is your secret superpower. When you admit you're nervous but still approach, when you laugh at your own mistakes instead of trying to seem perfect, you become magnetic. Why? Because you become real. And in a world of masks and fake personas, authenticity is the new luxury. Now let's move to the second crucial point, the lost art of deep, active listening. If you've watched this far, give it a like, because I'm about to reveal something that will transform not just your romantic relationships, but your entire social life. Most men listen to respond. You're in this conversation with her, but half your mind is already formulating the next clever remark. You've lost the game before it even started. Truly listening is a skill few master. It's not just hearing words, it's capturing emotions, perceiving the unsaid, validating experiences. When a woman shares something with you, she's not necessarily asking for solutions. Often she just wants to be understood. And here's the paradox that confuses most men. The less you try to impress, and the more you try to understand, the more impressive you become. I'm going to tell you a true story. A friend of mine, let's call him Carlos, was the typical guy who always had a solution for everything. When a woman complained about work, he immediately suggested she quit. When she talked about problems with friends, he told her to cut ties. The result? His relationships never lasted more than a few months. One day, after another breakup, he came to me desperate. I told him just one thing: stop trying to fix it and start trying to understand. The change was radical. The next time, he went out with someone. Instead of offering solutions, he simply reflected her feelings. Something like, "It sounds like that really frustrated you, didn't it? That must be tough to deal with every day." Suddenly, women started opening up to him in ways they never had before. They felt seen, heard, understood. And you know what happens. When a woman feels truly understood by you, she creates a deep emotional connection that transcends any superficial attraction. But here's the challenge. We live in the age of distraction. Your phone vibrates, your mind wanders, you think of 1,000 things at once. To master active listening, you need to be present. Completely present. This means putting away your phone, making eye contact, noticing her body language. When she speaks, you don't just hear the words, you feel the emotion behind them. You notice when her voice changes tone, when her eyes light up, or when her smile doesn't reach her eyes. There's another fatal mistake I see constantly. The man turns every conversation into a competition. She talks about her beach vacation, and he immediately talks about his trip abroad. She mentions a hobby, and he's already explaining how he's an expert at it. Stop, breathe, let her shine. Ask genuine questions. Show real curiosity. Oh, you practice yoga. What drew you to it? How do you feel after a session? These simple questions demonstrate genuine interest and create space for her to express herself. Third fundamental point, and if you've made it this far, comment below what your biggest difficulty with women is, because I'm about to drop a bombshell. The integrity of authentic expression is what separates ordinary men from irresistible men. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Most men live a lie. They create a persona of what they think women want and then wonder why relationships fall apart after a few months. The naked truth is that lasting attraction doesn't come from being who you think she wants you to be. It comes from being who you truly are, with courage and vulnerability. Women have a sixth sense for detecting falsehood. They know when you're playing a role. And even if it initially works, eventually the mask falls. And when it falls, the disappointment is devastating. Think of all the times you hid your true interests, opinions, or feelings to seem cooler. All the times you agreed with something you deeply disagreed with just to avoid conflict. All the times you pretended to like something you hated just to impress. Each of these small betrayals to yourself created a disconnection between who you are and who you show yourself to be. And that disconnection is felt energetically. Let me tell you about a fascinating social experiment. Researchers asked men to approach women in two different ways. In the first group, they were to use personas created to maximize attraction, specific clothes, rehearsed lines, calculated behaviors. In the second group, they were to be completely authentic, including admitting nervousness, sharing genuine interests even if uncommon, expressing real opinions even if controversial. The results? The first group had more initial success, more phone numbers, more dates set. But tracking for 3 months, 90% of those connections had dissolved. The second group? Less initial success, but the connections that formed were deep and lasting. 70% were still together after 3 months and reported much higher levels of satisfaction and intimacy. The lesson is clear. Authenticity might not yield spectacular immediate results, but it builds solid foundations. When you have the courage to show who you really are, you naturally filter out incompatible people and attract those who resonate with your essence. It's a process of emotional natural selection. You stop wasting time with those who would never be compatible and magnetize those who truly match you. But here's the biggest obstacle: the paralyzing fear of rejection. This fear keeps you trapped in a prison of relational mediocrity. You're so afraid of being rejected for who you are that you prefer to be accepted for who you're not. Think about the insanity of that. You are literally choosing empty relationships instead of authentic connections out of fear. And the worst part, even when you manage to maintain the facade and win someone over, you live with the constant terror of being discovered. True freedom comes when you understand that rejection isn't failure, it's a filter. When someone rejects you for being who you are, that person is doing you a favor. They're freeing up space in your life for someone who will genuinely value you. Every no you receive while being authentic brings you closer to the right yes. But every yes you receive while being false traps you in a relationship destined for failure. Now for the fourth and final pillar, the magnetic field of full presence. If you apply just what I'm about to reveal now, your love life will never be the same. Share this video now with that friend who urgently needs to hear this. What I'm about to tell you now is the integration of everything we've discussed. It's where the magic truly happens. Full presence isn't a mystical concept. It's a state of being where you're no longer trying to win someone over. You simply are winning. It's the natural manifestation of someone who has mastered emotional resonance, active, listening, and authentic expression. When you reach this state, women are naturally drawn into your orbit, not because you're doing something special, but because you are special. Imagine entering a social setting without an agenda, without the pressure to impress, without the need to win someone over, without the fear of rejection. You're just there, simply being, present, attentive, authentic. You converse because you have genuine curiosity. You laugh because you found something genuinely funny. You share because you have something interesting to say. This lightness, this naturalness, is irresistibly attractive. The secret is understanding that attraction isn't something you do. It's something you are. When you stop chasing and start attracting, the whole game changes. Women sense when a man is desperate, when he's trying too hard, when he's performing. But they also sense when a man is centered, comfortable in his own skin, at ease with who he is. I'm going to share a powerful technique I use and teach. Before any social interaction, especially with women, I do an internal check-in. I ask myself, am I trying to get something, or am I open to experiencing something? This subtle shift from getting to experiencing completely transforms your energy. You shift from predator mode to explorer mode, and women love emotional explorers. Full presence also means being comfortable with silences. Most men panic, fiat pauses in conversation, and try to fill them with any nonsense. Fatal mistake. Silences are opportunities for deep connection. It's in these moments that eye contact intensifies, healthy sexual tension builds, and non-verbal communication flourishes. Learn to savor these moments instead of fearing them. Another crucial aspect of full presence is total congruence between what you think, feel, say, and do. When these four elements are aligned, you emit a powerful and coherent energy. Women immediately perceive when there's incongruence. When you say one thing but your body expresses another. When you claim to be confident but your voice trembles. This dissonance breaks attraction instantly. Let me be even more specific about how to develop this presence. It starts with small daily practices. When you're drinking coffee, truly drink coffee. Feel the aroma, savor the taste, notice the temperature. When you're talking to someone, anyone, practice being 100% there. Don't think about what you'll do next. Don't mentally check your to-do list. Be present. This seemingly simple practice reconnects you with the present moment and develops the muscle of presence. With women specifically, full presence manifests in powerful ways. You notice details that other men ignore. The new haircut, the different earring, the subtle shift in mood. You respond to what's happening now, not to what happened in the last conversation or what you expect to happen in the future. This attention to the present moment creates a bubble of intimacy that is extremely seductive. But here's an important warning. Full presence doesn't mean being passive. It's not sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It's being fully engaged with the moment in an active way. It's leading when appropriate, following when necessary. It's knowing when to advance and when to retreat. It's a dynamic dance between assertiveness and receptivity. The mistake I see many make is confusing presence with lack of intention. You can be present and still have direction. You can be in the moment and still guide the interaction. The difference is that your leadership comes from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You suggest a date because it would be fun to share an experience, not because you're desperate to see her again. Now I'm going to reveal the final secret that ties all of this together. The reason these four pillars work so powerfully is because they activate what I call the principle of emotional safety. Women, on a deep and often unconscious level, look for men who offer emotional safety. I'm not talking about being boring or predictable. I'm talking about being an emotional rock in a sea of chaos. When you master emotional resonance, she feels that you understand her. When you practice active listening, she feels that you value her. When you express authenticity, she feels that she can trust you. When you maintain full presence, she feels that you are solid and centered. Together, these elements create a field of emotional safety where she can relax, open up, and be vulnerable. And here's the big takeaway. When a woman feels emotionally safe with you, physical and sexual attraction naturally intensify. It's a ripple effect. Safety generates comfort. Comfort generates openness. Openness generates intimacy. Intimacy generates desire. It's a natural progression that cannot be forced or artificially accelerated. But beware of a common mistake. Emotional safety doesn't mean being the nice guy who agrees with everything. It doesn't mean avoiding conflict or being an emotional doormat. It means being firm in your values while remaining open and empathetic. It means setting healthy boundaries while respecting hers. It means disagreeing when necessary, but doing so respectfully and maturely. I'm going to give you a practical example of how this works. Let's say she suggests something that goes against your values or preferences. The insecure guy agrees to please her. The arrogant guy rejects it rudely. The man with full presence says something like, "I understand why that's important to you and I respect that. For me though, that doesn't quite work because how about we think of something that works for both of us?" See the difference? You maintain your integrity while validating her feelings and seeking a joint solution. Now, if you've watched this far, you have the treasure map in your hands. But knowledge without action is useless. So I'm going to give you a practical challenge for the next 30 days. Each week, focus on one of the 4 pillars. First week, practice emotional resonance. Observe without judging. Feel without analyzing. Second week, develop active listening. Silence your mind and truly listen. Third week, exercise authenticity. Express one true opinion per day, even if uncomfortable. Fourth week, cultivate full presence. Be 100% where you are, with whom you are. What will happen at the end of these 30 days? You won't be the same man. You'll have developed a natural magnetism that doesn't depend on techniques or tricks. You'll have become the kind of man women naturally want to be around. Not because you're trying to seduce them, but because you've become genuinely seductive. Remember, this isn't about manipulation. It's about evolution. You're not learning to trick women into liking you. You're becoming the kind of man they naturally admire and desire. It's a journey from the inside out. And the best part? The benefits extend to all areas of your life. You become a better communicator, a more present friend, a more centered professional. The big truth that few men understand is this: women aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for real connection. They want a man who sees them, hears them, understands them, and has the courage to be himself. When you offer that, you become irresistible, not to all women, but to the right women, the ones who truly matter, the ones with whom you can build something meaningful and lasting. So here's my final challenge for you. Stop trying to be the man you think women want. Start being the man you were born to be. Develop these 4 pillars and watch how your love life transforms. But don't just take my word for it. Test it for yourself. Apply these principles and see the results. If this video made sense to you, if you felt like you finally found the answers you were looking for, do 3 things now. First, subscribe to the channel and hit the sacred notification bell, because I'm going to keep revealing truths that will transform your life. Second, comment which of the 4 pillars you'll focus on first. Third, share with that friend who's struggling with relationships. You can change his life with a simple share. The game has changed. The question is, are you ready to play at a new level?